Well, it happened. It's not going to be any baseball for a while. Thank you, coronavirus. Yeah, here we go. Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast, baseball family. I'm Brad. No Brig today. Today I'm joined by my wife.
Melanie.
Mel's here.
No.
So, yeah, unfortunately, that's what we have to talk about this week. We have to talk about the coronavirus because that's all there is, right? That's all we have to talk about. So, but before we do that, let's talk about how you can get in touch with the show. You can always comment on our YouTube channel. You can comment on the videos. You can send us messages, everything. You can interact with me on Twitter at Jojo Cornrow. But the podcast itself is actually on Twitter now.
Yay!
So that is at baseball, the number 2 together, baseball 2 together on Twitter. Okay. Don't forget about Instagram at baseball together. We got pictures and videos. We put podcast segments up on Instagram, and you can always submit to our mailbag at baseballtogether.com. And I have a link on every episode. So if you can't find it on Baseball Together, just find the link on either YouTube or on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can submit to the mailbag any questions, comments, concerns, snide remarks, whatever you want, and we'll respond to them. Yeah.
Salty.
Yeah, if you're ever feeling salty, that's right. That's just fine. Well, let's go ahead and get into this. I mean, it's crazy week.
Every day,
right?
There's something new.
So first, we're not going to lead with coronavirus, even though I already did, I guess.
Right.
Let's talk first about Barry Bonds.
Oh, okay.
All right, so...
And then I wanted to talk about something Is it on there?
You're rolling, just so you know.
Oh, I know that.
Okay.
I have to read, though.
So we got Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mel, let me tell you about it first, what happened. So Barry Bonds, in an interview, I believe it was with The Athletic.
I saw it on Facebook.
Okay.
I think I saw it on the group. I think someone was posting about it.
Okay.
I think they posted an article.
So Barry Bonds, in an interview with The Athletic, said that he feels like the Baseball Hall of Fame has given him the death penalty. Those were his words.
Which is very dramatic.
Well, yeah, that is dramatic for sure. And he was quoted as saying, "If you don't want me in, just let me know." You know, and it's like, well...
Well, he doesn't put his name on that list, though, does he?
Well, no, like he gets put on there as eligible, and then the writers vote. They decide whether they want him in or not.
Okay, how many votes did he get this last time? I thought last time when you guys were talking about this on the podcast that he was actually creeping up higher. He was, numbers.
And that's the way it tends to go. Is guys get higher and higher every single year.
Yeah. And
I want to say Bonds was in like 60%, something like that last time, and so he's getting closer to the required 75%, but he's not going to get there. He's only got 2 more. He's got. Yeah, I think you're right. 1 more year on the ballot. But it's like, they don't want you in there.
No. I mean, at least not this group. And so,
yeah,
he won't. I think, I mean, I agree with them. Maybe they are, but I'm okay with it.
Well, that's the thing, is they obviously don't want him in there because he's tied to steroids. And steroids are, pretty clearly the reason that he broke the home run record. And there's a lot of people unhappy about that.
Yeah.
So it's like... I mean, you get it, It's like they told you already that they don't want you in.
They didn't give him a death sentence. He gave himself a death sentence by making the choices he made. So he's playing victim to something that he chose. Those are his choices. Mm-hmm. And like we tell our 5-year-old toddler, actions have consequences.
That's right.
Good or bad. There are always consequences, though. And this is the very... not drawn out, but the very lasting consequences of what he chose to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't think he really has room to complain or whine about it. I think once, maybe in a few years, when we get our first steroid user in the Hall of Fame, then I think he could maybe be a little bent out of shape.
Yeah, that he didn't get in.
Yeah, but until then, I don't think he has anything he can or should say, because it all comes back to his choices.
That's right. That's exactly right. And they always talk about how Barry Bonds is on the trajectory to be a Hall of Famer anyway before he bulked up on steroids. So he was a 40-40 guy. He 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases when he's in Pittsburgh.
He's continued to deny it, correct?
Yes, he has.
So we don't actually know what year he actually started.
Right.
And so it's hard to know, I think. But since he's never actually come out and said what year he started, we can't, maybe he was But like you said, if he was already, even from a young age, projected to do that well, it's a bummer that he made the choice.
It's true, yeah.
That's
Exactly it.
And I don't think there's any denying that he didn't know or anything like that, where some players are like, I didn't know what I was taking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He definitely knew. That era, definitely, they knew what they were doing.
Well, and somebody who went from that small to that big, I saw a cartoon one time. It was a picture. It said Barry Bonds before steroids, and I think that they described him. It was like a headline in the comic. It said described Barry Bonds as like Somalian because he was so little. He was so little when he broke into the league.
Yeah.
And then it says Barry Bonds after steroids, and it shows him all bulked up and huge. And that's exactly what it was. He wasn't a very big guy.
I remember seeing him. I don't remember if it was. It may have just been on TV growing up or whatever. But I remember he was a really big guy. And then that article had a picture of him at a podium. And honestly, I was like, that's not Barry Bonds. Granted, he's aged, but he's so thin.
He's thinned out. Yeah.
I mean, his shoulders aren't up to here, and his head looked smaller. Like I was kind of like looking at him, and I was like, really?
Yeah, he looks more like he did when he broke into the league, the body type, because he was
very lean, and
he's not inflated.
I was kind of expecting him to kind of do like the steroids, like you know, which so I didn't.
All the fat turns to muscle, or the muscle turns to fat.
Yes, I didn't expect. Kind of, is it Mark McGuire? Mark McGuire.
Well, he stayed big. He might still be using. He's so big still.
Well, and I can't tell. But he's a pretty solid guy.
Yeah.
And so, he wasn't tiny before either. But,
right.
Anyways, I kind of expected him to be kind of this big guy. And so when I saw the picture, I was like, huh.
Oh yeah, yeah. He looks like somebody who just thinned out after playing baseball. Like you get the offensive linemen in the NFL when they retire, a lot of them will drop 50 to 100 pounds because they've got all that extra weight that they have to carry on, so they can't just get pushed around. And that's kind of what he looks like.
Yeah. So my question would be, do you think him coming out and saying this, because first off, why did he? Is this just a random thing, or is it, because it seems very far after all of the Hall of Fame stuff. So do you think this is going to help him get in or not for next year?
I don't think it'll have an effect on it. And I actually listened. It's funny you bring that up because I actually listened to an interview with the guy who wrote the article. He went on, I believe it was on Dan Patrick, and this is a guy who covered Barry Bonds when he played for the Giants, and actually had a really good relationship with him.
Interesting.
And so he was just sitting down talking to him, just doing. I don't even think he was doing an interview.
Yeah.
And he just opened up to him, just started saying all this stuff.
I wonder if he was like, Ben, can I use this?
I'm sure, because that's one thing that people don't understand is as soon as you talk to a journalist, it's on the record, which can be unfortunate sometimes unless they're saying like specifically it's off the record, you don't have anything recording. But
yeah, I don't want to be friends with the journalist.
but yeah, he just was talking to this guy and this conversation came up and they ended up doing like a full conversation on it. He wrote the article and yeah. And and Barry Bonds did come out because the headline of the original article said that he felt like Major League Baseball had given him the death penalty when really what he was saying was the Hall of Fame, which I feel like makes more sense because they're not technically
well, and
connected.
That's what I understood from that was he was saying the Hall of Fame. But either way, my firm belief is if this death penalty is his way of whining, I don't know. I still think it's 100%. You know what you did. Mm-hmm. You did not have the foresight to think that you were going to be this great. Maybe you did, or you wanted to be. You didn't realize the consequences that would then follow for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And what labels you would have and what... Because honestly, he probably just was like, I'll never get caught.
Oh,
and that's the issue.
Well, and the thing is, too, that I think gets overlooked a lot is at the time it wasn't technically illegal because they weren't testing for it. So it's like that's why there were so many guys. Yeah.
That he got caught?
Well, that he was connected to it. I mean, still he technically wasn't caught, but he was connected to it. But so many guys were using it, but we haven't had any of those guys get elected into the Hall of Fame yet.
Yeah.
And it's like we've said before, it's starting to come up more and more and more.
Yeah.
But none of those guys have gotten in. A-Rod has been campaigning basically to get in. Almost like a brand rehabilitation tour,
Well, he is on TikTok, so that's a boost.
There you go. I mean, yeah, enough said.
No, but anyways, okay. Yeah, but that's your choices have consequences, and that's one of them. It is not. It's your own death penalty, and that is the consequence. You don't get to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
for winners.
And like to kind of finish it up with this, we talked about how there's the committee who looks at guys down the road, and maybe they'll look at him and be like, you know what, he was that great. Yes, steroids took him over the top, and that's why he's the home run champion forever.
Well, we're not getting into your basement attic thing.
No, it's not a basement thing, but no, there's the committee. It's like the legend committee or whatever. I can never remember what it's called because I think it's weird. But they might look at it and say, you know what? Out of all those steroids guys, Bonds is the one who deserves to do it because he had longevity, consistency, and was consistently named one of the best hitter in baseball. So
nope.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's how it's going to happen, but if he gets in, that's how it's going to have to be.
Well, we'll bet on it one of these days, and you'll owe me something because it won't happen.
Probably.
I love winning a bet.
That's true. You win a lot of them. All right, now on to coronavirus.
That everyone wants to talk about.
I know. I swore I was going to try to avoid it this week, but seriously, like with everything that happened this week, it's the only thing in the news.
It is. And
it's ridiculous.
And it's constantly changing throughout the day. And I noticed, so we live in Idaho. We were one of the last 4.
Today's Friday, and we got our first case today.
Yes. So we were one of the last 4 states to not have any cases. And I saw funny things on Facebook, like Braveheart holding the line. And we saw a funny one with, like, the last 4 states in, like,
the Final 4 bracket.
A bracket, yeah. And we lost.
Yeah.
But
so close.
So we've been watching our phones quite a bit to kind of see where the case, to check to make sure we don't have any the cases around. So it's affecting all of our lives. We're all keeping tabs on it. If you have any children, they're probably all now home or will be soon. Yeah. Extended, what is it called? Extended
spring break, pretty much.
Spring break, yeah. I was going to say spring training.
Well, yeah, I mean.
But yes, and
training.
So everyone's affected right now. So it's constantly on our minds. And I don't know about you, but, I can't get toilet paper anywhere either. So good luck, everyone. Yeah. And I work at a grocery store.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyways, the big news is...
all sports are canceled.
All sports.
Well, not canceled. Like, the NBA season has been suspended. Who knows what's going to happen there? Hockey said they pushed pause on the season. But the big thing, for us, obviously with the podcast, is spring training was suspended or canceled. Like, we don't actually know what's going to happen with that. I know
the season's postponed, and especially we got a notice for Little League. This is actually, we postponed Wilson and Little League this season. But I know they're pushing back, which actually worked out because they're pushing that back, and we'll see how long that
may not be a Little League season this year.
Yeah, and so spring training is completely done now.
So that's one of the things that I saw is that nobody knows exactly how it's going to work. I saw something they called the Spring Training 2 when they come back in whenever. Maybe they'll go back and finish the last 2 weeks of spring training so guys can get their last few hacks and get ready to get back into it, because right now, and they've shut down training facilities.
I was going to say
today they said, go home. Don't hang out here. Everybody go home. Go to your families.
I was going to say, I was wondering if they'd continue spring training, but only like...
without fans? Without
fans, and only like as needed players. Like, not necessarily like... But like... not maybe extra staff, extra anything like that. Like, just almost like a Sandlot. Like,
yeah,
we're all just... Players are going to play. We'll have a few coaches out there. And maybe 1 or 2 umps. Or have coaches, just purely like... doesn't count baseball.
Well, the thing about it that's crazy to me is that I'm actually surprised it took this long for them to shut it down. Because... I'm going to get more into this a little bit later. Wilson and I are going to talk about our trip down to spring training. But the crazy thing about it is the players are so accessible to anybody. I mean, you walk into those practice facilities, walk down to they call them the backfields because they're just back behind the main field. The guys just do their morning workouts and walk over to the field, and you can walk over to the practice facilities. You can just walk around. I had Wilson walking around with his ball, and we just find players, and he'd hand him his pen and his ball, and they get it, and he got it signed.
Oh, cutest thing ever!
It was.
I think you need to attach at least a picture too.
I'm going to.
Holy smokes, that little boy in a giant baseball cap, looking up to these very sweet men that are signing these kids' balls. It was so cute.
It was. But
Hard
I mean,
not to be there.
so yeah, it's cute and it's sweet when Wilson and other kids, his age do it. But the fact that, I mean, I was there. There's other adults there. Who knows? And like people coming from all over the place. That, especially we were at the Mariners facility. There were a ton of Washington license plates down there. Ton. And Seattle is one of the big points. And you've got the Dodgers. You've got the Angels down there in Phoenix. And people coming from California,
anywhere where everyone's traveling to from other places.
Yeah, that it basically becomes a petri dish. And when we left, that's kind of like, oh man, I feel bad for those players. That I hope none of them came in contact with him, because that'd be miserable. That would just be miserable.
It does help they're outside in the open air, and that's helpful. And hopefully people are kind enough and smart enough to not be up in people's faces. But because I was reading this article, because that's what I have time to do. And I was reading this article, though, about even just the fresh air and sunshine. And so while we have kids home, even during spring break, since we don't really want to go to play places or museums or anything like that, we're keeping our kids pretty close-knit. We have already thought of ideas to do here. Because I'm crazy, I bought a jump house around
Not
Christmas.
a giant one, just a small one, but
just
still.
Just a small indoor jump house, but around Christmas time, because I was like, hey, we have winter, and why not? I think Mom more thought that was going to be fun.
But no, I think you're right, though. I think that's why we haven't seen so far any baseball players, because it's not like you're inside the inside the buildings, the whole training facility. It's
on
all
top of each
outside.
other as baseball players for the most part.
Yeah, and have you seen those dugouts?
Well, that
the
part.
Spring Training dugouts are like crammed. It's like standing room only, because you've got such big rosters in Spring Training.
That's true. I was more
that
thinking,
is the big worry, though.
The action of baseball, not like...
but it's crazy, though.
It is.
It's all shut down. The College World Series, there's no more college baseball the rest of the year. Yeah. It's done. They canceled the whole thing, canceled all college spring sports, so we're not going to get a College World Series this year, which is going to have an effect on the draft. It's going to have an effect on guys' draft stock, because you see guys who typically...
Well, even seniors and stuff.
Well, the
they're
seniors...
not going to have a chance to be seen. We might have a whole year where...
Yeah, seniors, it actually came out today, the NCAA is going to let them come back for a year, for another year.
I was actually going to say, I was wondering if they would even do, almost... and maybe this isn't the right way, but, I don't know if you could really even do kind of like a combine thing. It doesn't show, I guess, as much talent. So you're right. They probably just have to come back a year. Yeah. That would be fun to watch, though.
It would be. It would be a lot of fun to watch a baseball combine. But
for my birthday, 10 years ago, we watched.
Yeah, it's true. We did watch the NFL combine on your birthday. I forgot about that. But guys, these guys don't have a chance to improve their draft stock as seniors, or even freshmen, sophomores, juniors, whatever. So, they don't have a chance to display their ability in the College World Series, if that's when it is, if they're big time gamers, if that's when they thrive, so that's going to be hard.
It's really brave of all of these organizations, though, and smart, and to take take that into consideration, and also be very wise and conscious of everybody's health and the benefit that this actually will have. I know, I'm sure everyone's seen the arc and what these shutdowns will do to hopefully, if it does what it's supposed to, maybe within a few months we can have everything contained, and we can all kind of be back to normal life.
Baseball initially said they were pushing back. Major League Baseball said they were pushing back opening day 2 weeks. I think it's going to be longer than that. I don't think we'll see opening day until May 1st, probably. Denise Cantu posted on the group that in Illinois, the governor said no sporting events, no big group gatherings until May 1st, I believe is what she said. And I think that's probably about the timeline we're looking for.
I've noticed that most of the heavier infected areas are doing, even just because I'm a mom, so I follow a lot of other moms, even their schools are all doing these 6-week big breaks. Yeah. So I'm like, I think realistically, hold everything off for 6 weeks, and maybe that will be the big enough window to contain and then to stop the spread, help everybody that may be contaminated, and then go from there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I don't know what we're going to talk about for the.
Well, that's actually where I was headed.
You get your baseball cards out. We'll start talking about baseball.
So we're still gonna do the podcast every single week. So the question is, what is the podcast going to look like for the next 6 weeks? Well, we have a few ideas, some things that we didn't get to during the off season that we want to. We have some book reviews that we want to do.
Yes.
Brig and I both love to listen to audiobooks. I've mostly gotten into him because of him.
He's a big reader.
He's a big time reader, which I appreciate, and I love when he gives me recommendations because I really enjoy it. And also, something we talked about today, actually, that we want to do that we think would be fun. We're going to be missing watching baseball. There's not going to be any. There is like no sports to watch anywhere in the world. It feels like after the snap on Avengers Endgame. Nothing. No, that's what it feels like to me. That was the very first thought I had. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the snap. It's the snap. There's not going to be any sports. So what we're going to do instead is I have MLB TV. Brig has MLB TV. So what we're going to do... Oh, what do we do?
What's that
Mike Trout.
Who is he?
But what we're going to do is we're going to choose, starting with opening day, we're going to choose a game from some time in Major League Baseball history. Probably going to be since 1986, to be honest, for me. Like, I'm going to pick something in my lifetime just to narrow down.
Yeah.
But, like, starting with opening day. So what we'll do is we'll watch an opening day game. And then we'll each talk about our opening day game that we watched. And then the next week we'll find a game, because I'm sure there was a perfect game somewhere in the second week of the season. So we'll watch that. We'll talk about it. So we're going to talk about games that have already happened, like they happened just now. And I think it'll be a lot of fun to visit some of those great games.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
So that's something that we're going to do. Like I said, book reviews, and we'll figure out some other games to play.
Maybe interview some people too.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get some guests on to do some interviews, things like that. So we're still going to be doing the podcast. It's just going to look a little bit different than what we expected this time of year.
Definitely.
So,
but luckily there's 100 years of
yeah, exactly. There's 150 years of baseball, about 50, 60 years of TV, baseball and TV. So we've got a lot of source material to work with, luckily. Yeah. So, but let's go ahead and take a break. When we get back, I'm going to give Mel a rundown.
I'm so nervous.
Hey, babe, I'm headed to concessions. Do you want me to grab you something?
Yeah, anything, whatever you're getting.
Okay, I saw a burger. I'll probably grab that.
No, that doesn't sound good.
Okay, I think there's barbecue, probably some nachos.
I don't think I want either of those either. But just get me anything.
What do you want?
I saw a hot dog earlier.
Okay, I can do that.
Well, no.
Couples may quarrel, but baseball is for lovers. Shop the Lovers Collection at 9plusus.com.
All right, baseball family, welcome back. So Mel has been on the podcast before. She helped me with an opening segment, the episode that I did with Quinn a long time ago.
It's very helpful.
It was. You were very helpful. However, she got off the hook and did not get a rundown, which is what we do for every guest, all like 4 guests we've had on the podcast so far, right? But anyways, so here we go. Are you ready?
No, not at all.
Well, good. Because here we go.
Right, bring it on.
All right. First question.
Okay.
What is your favorite baseball movie? And why?
My favorite baseball movie. Oh gosh. Well. Well, of course I love watching The Sandlot. It also depends who I'm watching movies with.
Okay, you're watching a movie with me. What's your favorite baseball movie to watch with me?
We really like watching Bull Durham.
We do. We
love quoting it. We giggle at it every time. We quote it while it's playing. We're super obnoxious. I don't even think we hear half the movie.
We quote it while we're at baseball games. We quote it while we're watching baseball games on TV. Mel's been known at minor league games. Anytime there's a mound visit that seems to go on for a little bit too long, Mel is the one who yells, "Get 'em candlesticks!" So, if you happen to hear that, you know.
It's a fun one. But I do love... Wilson went through a time where he watched The Sandlot a ton, and he'd sit there...
Twice a day.
...with his, baseball gear, and he would just, sit there all cute, and he would just stare at the TV, and he had this giant hat and this giant catcher's mitt, and... Oh, it was adorable.
I don't think he was even 2 yet.
No.
And he was doing
it was so cute. But no, I do love Bull Durham, and I know that there's a million out there. I actually really enjoy watching... I also... I don't know if this counts... Sorry, I actually like a lot of movies.
We're movie people, so...
I still love not the fastball everyone thinks but with with Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
I love it when you call me Big
Oh.
Papi. I love that one.
What was that one? I can't even think. I never saw it.
Oh, he like starts coaching. I don't know if it's community service or something, but he coaches a baseball team in an inner city.
It's not Bad News Bears.
No, it's called Fastball.
Oh, is it Fastball?
Yes.
I don't know.
We've had the same conversation.
I think
and he's
regularly.
Because see, that's a funny movie too. And I haven't seen the old one. I've only seen the one with Billy Bob Thornton, which he's really funny too.
He is funny.
I don't know. I like baseball movies, and we really like movies in general. But I think Bull Durham is my favorite. It's my favorite to quote.
Yeah, it's a good one. And the way that it depicts minor league baseball is, like, from what I understand, what I've been told, is, like, spot on. Like, they got it right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, I did like the documentary that we watched.
Oh, Fastball?
If everybody else watched it and listened to the podcast about it, it was really fun. I was like, oh, perfect. Brad's going to watch a documentary. I'm going to get all this stuff done. I'm sitting there and I'm like, pause it. I got to go rotate laundry. And sitting there in front and doing laundry in front of it. Yep. It was very, it's captivating. It was very cool. So I enjoy it. I'm learning a lot because I love baseball, love watching it, love going. I don't mind watching on TV. I enjoy that, but I know nothing.
Okay, now tell me about your worst ballpark experience ever.
My worst?
Your worst.
I don't know if I've had a worst. I have one, actually.
I know you have one. I think I know what it is. That's why I asked.
Spring training last year. We...
Go ahead. Yeah.
We went to 2 games. Mm-hmm. The night before... I don't even think there was a day between, right?
No, so we got into town on, like, Friday.
Yeah, and that night we went to an Angels-Mariners game.
Yep. And
it was so fun. Stella was barely 3.
Yep.
Not even.
Almost 3.
Almost 3. Wilson was 4. And the kids did great. The night game was super fun. Wilson ended up falling asleep on our laps. We made it, I think, through the whole game. Or I think we left early.
Like 5 or 6 innings.
Just so we could put kids to bed.
Yeah.
Then we went to Scottsdale for a Giants
D-backs
game, which their stadium was so fun.
It was cool.
It was, even just the downtown Scottsdale was so beautiful. It was so, it was just quaint. It was really fun. The vibe was really fun. There was a ton of stairs and hills and we, for both of those games, we were on the grass.
Yeah.
And it was a 1:00 game, and it was hot.
Yeah, there was no shade where we were sitting.
And Stella was not jiving, and she was... I was so sweaty. I was carrying her everywhere, and she is hefty.
She's big. She's a big toddler.
We call her sturdy. Anyways, it was... We pushed for her to last like 3.5 innings. And that was with me walking with her, carrying her, throwing goldfish at her.
Well, the thing that's hard about that stadium too is it doesn't have the wide open concourses. So if you're gonna go walk, it's really narrow. You're kind of fighting a crowd. Yeah, yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, it was. We got to the car and then she wouldn't walk, and we have to. So at the Angels game, the Peoria
Sports Complex,
the parking lot is just like right there.
Yeah, we were parked on the other side of the left field entrance.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then this one, I had to like go through like business building, I
think we were probably 3/4 of a mile away.
And I had to carry this hefty girl who was sad and hot, and we were both sweaty.
Yeah. It
was miserable. I couldn't enjoy the popcorn, the lemonade, nothing. I was very sad.
Yeah.
And
And it was probably 90 degrees that day. It was hot.
It
was really hot that day. We all got sunburned, and
it was not fun.
Which is on top of it all.
Which is such a bummer, because it would have been, we were really excited. I was very nervous on that trip taking little kids. But the first game I was like, oh, we've got this. And the second one was
it helps when they're tired.
Horrible. It was horrible. Well, no, she was tired, but she was grumpy and hot.
Yeah.
But yes, so that would be my worst game.
And I would agree with that.
Worst game ever.
Yeah. And, my first thought was probably, I talked about it on the podcast before, like the best game experiences one, where we sat in right field at Angel Stadium, and the sun was beating down on us before.
No, anything with kids will just heighten that worst level to the nth degree. No, that one, bad. I was so mad at him, though. I was like, why did you put us here? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I didn't know which way it is. That's my Brad voice constantly when he does something stupid.
Yeah, anytime she talks about me, it's, oh, you know. That's how she does. It's
in
true.
a loving way. In a loving, kind, I love my husband way. But yeah, no, that one wasn't nearly as bad. Because it did, eventually, the sun did go down. So it was fine.
Yeah, before the first pitch was even thrown.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't until like the
it was
second
like
or
5
third.
minutes before the game. The sun dipped behind the grandstand. I was like, this is great. This is perfect.
Was it?
Yeah. I specifically remember
swear
that.
it was. He thinks he remembers things. No. Anyways, that wasn't that bad. And anything with sweaty, hot children and me having to carry her. I remember
brutal.
my arms, by the time we got to the car, I was like shaking.
Yeah. Well, I remember because I carried her from the car to the stadium because
Yeah.
she decided she didn't want to walk then. And if she decides she's not going to walk, she'll lay down on the ground until you pick her up. So
There's no moving.
Yeah,
Still,
it's not happening.
And we're like, oh, we don't need a stroller. Like,
Yeah.
dumb parents. We never learn. But yeah. Anyways, that's the worst one.
All right. What's your favorite ballpark food?
Okay, well, we really tried to get free garlic fries, and we did not succeed, but we did buy some, and those were fantastic. I know you rage about them all the time, and it's very true. They're very good.
So good.
But I do just love a hot dog.
Oh, yeah.
And my best friend is Quinn. He's been on
who's
this.
on the podcast.
We went to an Angels game, and it was $1 hot dog night. And the guy was like, we're getting a bunch of hot dogs. He's like, oh, if you get 6 or something, he's like, it's a better deal. So we're like, okay. And then we're like, oh, they're just $1. So we had this like mound of hot dogs. And we were like being so goofy with them. Anyways, every single one of them was so good.
Oh, they always are. I mean,
we had
aside from the Ormels, from their hot dogs, which we're going to beat this drum to death.
Oh,
Hopefully someday
Tiff,
they'll...
Oh my gosh, I didn't listen to the podcast till Thursday because of my schedule, and my schedule is crazy. But I finally listened to it, and I was like cracking up because I remember every time Brad would come home because he interned and he'd get free food, and he's like, I don't know why I went with the hot dog again. Like, I can trust them, and he'd be so mad about it. But then like,
because it was my dinner and it was terrible.
By like the end of the season, he was like, one more shot. Like, yeah, I swear you had like 6 hot dogs.
I don't think I had that many. I gave up on it pretty early, but because I found out their chicken tenders and their burgers were pretty good, but for some reason they can't cook a hot dog on a roller in that stadium. I don't know what the deal is.
I don't know how you mess up a standard hot dog.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, Angel's hot dogs are fabulous, and it was great, and I loved it. And we didn't do anything crazy. We just ketchup, mustard, relish. That's how I like it. But that game was fun because Quinn and I, we've been best friends since literally birth. Our parents are friends. And so, yeah, we've been best friends forever. And so we went to the game and we're standing in line with our tickets. And this older couple was like, oh, I don't know if they thought we were on a date or something, but they gave us 2 of their tickets. And they were like lower level, like we were going to be up in the cheap seats. And we were like lower level, and they're like, well, the only downfall is you have to sit by us. But it was like so fun. We joked with them the whole time, and they ended up leaving super early. And so then I called my sister down to come hang out with us. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a really fun game. We hadn't done those very often. So
that was a long time ago. We were dating then. Yeah, we were dating.
Were we dating? Yeah. Wow.
That was a long time ago.
I thought I was still in high school. Just about, though. No, I guess you're right. It was between semesters and stuff.
All right, next question for you. No, you're fine. Okay, it doesn't have to be baseball related, but what is your favorite sports memory ever? Mel was a water polo player in high school, so...
Water polo and swim.
Yeah.
Well, I am kind of... participated in or just watched?
Just in general. Watched, participated in, anything.
Oh, well, I can't ever give one answer. I'm really terrible at this. We did win CIF League Champions, which is a huge deal because I'm from Southern California. So we were about 30 minutes away from the beach. But even every school you get closer and closer to the beach, they get better and better and better. And we did awesome when we beat them all. So, boom. That was very cool.
It's a big deal.
It's a very big deal. Yeah, it was a very big deal. And it was super awesome to be part of that. And if you've never heard of water polo, seen it, look it up. It's awesome. It's intense. It's
I would
crazy.
drown if I tried to play water polo.
I probably would now. It's been a good 14 years or so. That was a very cool personal sports experience. Also, I think anytime just winning swim events and stuff. But I think I also really enjoy, like Brig, the Olympics. And I always love watching the swim and the water polo and looking at the talent that I could never reach that level. It's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. Gosh, my favorite sporting... I have a terrible memory, guys. Like, it is... Brad always can say he's right about stuff because I won't know. And he'll be like, yes, this is how it happened. I'm like, oh, okay.
Just like the sun was down behind the grandstand by the first pitch. I remember.
It wasn't, I swear it was. But who's to say? Because I don't remember.
What about the Angels winning the World Series? Where did that rank on your...
Oh, that was really fun. Because I have fun memories of, like, I was at an Angels-Dodgers game, super low seats with Becky and David.
Okay. Yeah.
It was me, and I think Juliana was with me, maybe.
That's her sister, Juliana.
Sorry, my sister. I have a million of them. And we were down very low. Like, we were behind the third base line, and we're maybe, like, 5 to 10 rows back.
Oh, cool.
And there was a huge brawl, and I just remember being like panicking. I was probably 10, maybe 12, and I just remember because it felt very close and like, oh my gosh.
That would feel close.
And fans were freaking out. I mean, it's Angels and Dodgers.
Yeah.
They're rivals. It's not necessarily right, but
they are rivals.
They're city
yeah.
rival
yeah.
or whatever. Anyways, it was intense, and I just remember being like, I mean, fans were like, even like rushing towards, like,
it
it
gets
was
crazy.
Yeah. And I just remember being like panicked, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And like, that was freaking. That was very memorable. But I loved watching the World Series and watching the Angels do that. And I just remember watching on TV. We obviously didn't go to games, but we went to a lot of Angels games growing up. But they did, I just remember I loved seeing the stadium full of red and full of the and cheering, and just...
that was the year of the Rally Monkey, right?
Yes.
Rally
And
Monkey.
It was just like so much fun. It was even, you could feel the energy even through the TV. It was really cool.
That's cool.
So, in a house full of girls, baseball was the only sport that my dad ever could get us to get on the TV.
Yeah.
He didn't have much control over that remote, poor guy. He still doesn't.
All right, I have one more question for you.
Okay.
I have to read it because it's kind of long.
Oh, great.
All right, are you ready? Okay.
Yes.
What would baseball look like today if the Brooklyn Dodgers and New York City agreed on either the Dodgers' plan to build a stadium at Atlantic Yards, site of the new Barclays Center where the Brooklyn Nets play, or Robert Moses' plan to build a team a home in Flushing, which is where Citi Field is, where the Mets currently play? What do you think baseball would look like?
I don't even know what that question means. Are you being for reals?
No.
I was like, you're such an idiot. I don't have a lot of baseball knowledge. That is not a fair question.
I dug that up for Brig, but I didn't get to it, so I thought I'd...
Horrible. I don't know.
Let us know what you think, though. You can comment on YouTube.
Give me an answer.
On the Facebook group. Let us know what you think of that question. I think it's interesting. I don't know what it would look like. I mean, we wouldn't have the Dodgers.
I can't contribute at all.
So,
I have no idea what any of those words meant. Put them together, nothing. I don't know. I have no idea. Should not be allowed to be on the baseball podcast. I'll show you the gear because I love it and I'm obsessed with it, but I will not participate in that answer.
All right, let's take a break. When we get back, Wilson's going to tell us about our trip down to Phoenix for spring training.
I'm excited I hope he tells you everything.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back with me. Root, root, root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Shop kids' baseball shirts at 9pluss.com.
Welcome back, baseball family. I have a special guest with me today. I have my son, Wilson. Can you say hi, Wilson?
Hi.
Well, Wilson and I got to go on a really fun trip last week. It's actually why I wasn't on the pod that week, why Brig and Tiff hosted. Wilson and I went down to spring training down in the Phoenix area. We met my dad and my uncle and a couple of my cousins down there. We had a whole lot of fun. Went to 2 games while we were there. Wilson, how did we start the trip? What did we do when we first left? What did we do? What did we do?
Fly on an airplane.
Yeah, we got to fly in the airplane, that's right. And then we got down to Phoenix, and we spent a couple days hanging out. We went down to Tucson, down to where I spent a couple of years, and then you watching the airplane in the camera. And then on Thursday we went to a game. What was the first game we went to? Do you remember?
Mariners versus Padres.
That's right, the Mariners and the Padres. And we made it through the whole thing. Wilson stayed for his first, for the entire game for the first time, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then again.
And then again, that's right. So let's talk about the Mariners and Padres game. What was your favorite thing, Wilson, at the Peoria Sports Complex when we watched the Mariners? What? Because remember we went and walked around. What was your favorite thing?
Some teams signing my ball.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I can't believe I skipped over that. That was awesome. So before we even went into the game, we went over to the backfields. It just shares the same parking lot as the Peoria Sports Complex. We went over and there was a bunch of guys taking some batting practice, getting their workouts in. And it was really cool because you just get to walk around basically among the players as they go from field to field. And so Wilson we brought a baseball. It was a ball that I had gotten at a game a long time ago. And we brought that with a pen, and Wilson got to have that signed. He had it signed by Cal Raleigh. He's a catcher for the Mariners in the Mariners organization, and George Kirby. He is actually number 100 right now on MLB's top 100 prospects list. And there were a couple guys I can't remember their names, but
I knew there was 100 numbers.
Yeah. Was that pretty cool getting to meet those guys? It was pretty fun getting them to sign your ball. Yeah. So we got to go do that, and we got to watch some of the guys play, and then we went into the game, right? Then
right.
We went into the Mariners and Padres game. So we made it. We went probably 3 innings straight, and then we got up to go walk around because there's actually a whole lot to see at the Peoria Sports Complex.
And then I threw.
That's right. That's where I was headed next. You did, right?
Yeah.
What were you doing when you threw like that? What did you do? Were you throwing pitches at the wall?
Yeah.
So we went and Wilson got to throw against a radar gun. Do you remember how hard you threw?
Yeah.
How hard did you throw?
I mean, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
20 miles an hour. 20 miles an hour from this little arm. It was awesome.
I got a tattoo on this hand and this hand.
Yeah, he got stamps. He got stamps. They weren't even temporary tattoos, just stamps. And then we went and we walked around more. We went and took the rest of our lap, and we found, what did we find? Where'd you go play? Did you play on a playground?
Yeah.
So he got to play on the playground. They have a pirate-themed playground, which, please, that's so cool.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
And I did not like that. It got my clothes wet.
It did, yeah. There's a splash pad next to the playground, and so Wilson kind of somehow ended up in the splash pad. He got a little bit wet. He didn't get soaked, right? He didn't get soaked, just a little bit wet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah,
like
and then we kept going on our lap. We were just about done, and we found the sandlot field. They have a sandlot field that's at Peoria Sports Complex where kids can go and play a little bit of wiffle ball. And how'd you do?
really hard.
Oh, it was really hard?
Yeah, because 2 strikes, but on this strike, I hit it.
You did. You hit it over everybody's head, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, they were all playing in. So this field is really cool. It's just a tiny little wiffle ball field. It's actual dirt, actual bases. They have a little mound. They have a fence and everything. And so Wilson went over and played a little bit of their pickup wiffle ball game. And put your arm down, please. and while he was playing, some of the kids came in and underestimated him because he's so little. And he ripped it right over their head, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we were headed back to our seats, and what did we get before we sat down? You remember? What
No.
did we eat?
I don't know.
We got some popcorn. Or no, we didn't get popcorn. We already had popcorn. We got some cotton candy.
Yep.
That was when we got our cotton candy, right? So, at that game, what did we eat? We ate some popcorn.
Yep.
We got some lemonade, just like Grandma made.
Yep.
And we got some cotton candy.
Yep.
All right?
Three
Yeah.
things.
Yep. 3 things to eat. 3 things to snack on during that game. So that was, it was like I said, it was a success. Wilson made it all the way through. High five for making it all the way through. Yeah. He did a great job. And then where did we go on? Who did we watch on Friday? Do you remember?
The Angels versus the Royals.
That's right. The Angels and the Royals, very good. And Wilson got that cool little bat from the team store. So we went to Surprise, Arizona. Went to Surprise Stadium, and we watched the Angels against the Royals. The Angels just brought their B team, so we didn't really get to see any of the guys we wanted to see. No Mike Trout, no Ohtani. But it was still fun. They were still competitive against the Royals, which I don't know if what that says about the Royals or not, because they trotted out their starters.
Dad.
We'll get there.
Okay.
But before we actually went into the game, what did we do? Where did we go?
To the team store.
We did go to the team store and we got your bat, and then we also went to the backfields again, huh?
Yep. The backfield.
So we went to the backfields, and Wilson got to watch some guys taking batting practice, got to watch the pitchers, and he also learned how to eat sunflower seeds. So I love this thing. First off, just let me tell you about this real quick. This is called a seed sack, and this is where we keep our sunflower seeds. It's no mess, nice and easy. It has this little clip top right here. I'm going to put a link in the description so you can go find that if you want to. But Wilson learned how to eat a sunflower seed. Show him how to eat a sunflower seed, Wilson.
Okay.
So we were walking around the backfields, and we were both eating sunflower seeds and enjoying the experience. He's getting good. He's getting faster at it. Mm-hmm. It took some time that first little bit, but he got to eat some sunflower seeds, and these ones are barbecue. I'm surprised he actually likes the barbecue because he's a pretty picky eater. But he's doing a good job with them. There you go. You got it.
And I eat the inside.
Yep, and then you eat the inside, huh? So Wilson learned how to eat sunflower seeds while we were cruising the backfields, and you got more guys to sign your ball.
Mm-hmm.
How many signatures did we leave Arizona with on your ball? Do you remember?
No.
We had 10. We got 10 signatures on that ball. It was pretty awesome, huh?
Dad, the inside taste is really good.
It does taste really good, doesn't it? So then we went into the game. So Surprise Stadium, it's a nice ballpark. It kind of has a retro feel, like a ballpark from the 40s or 50s, something like that. With the way they did the grandstand, it kind of hangs over just a little bit, like kind of what you would see probably at Fenway, something like that. So it was a nice ballpark, but it's not quite as family friendly. There wasn't as much stuff for Wilson to do there. He did find a little hill to roll down, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who did you see? Do you remember who you saw at the ballpark there?
Mm.
Did you see a big lion? Whose mascot was that? Do you remember?
The Royals mascot.
That's right, yeah.
And he was like a Lion King.
He was like a Lion King, wasn't he? He had his big crown. He was a lion. So he was throwing the ball. He had a great big plush ball he was throwing into the stands at people, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up probably about the 6th inning. I think we decided to get, maybe the 5th or 6th inning. We decided to go get some lemonade, and so we headed across the ballpark. And while we were walking over there, it was pretty cool. We were getting close to the lemonade stand, and I could hear the cracks of some bats, and I was like, where's that coming from? And so we went back behind the concession stand where we got our lemonade, and we found the Texas Rangers batting cages, because the Rangers and the Royals share that training facility. So before we got our lemonade, we hung out there for a little bit and got to see some guys taking some batting practice. Then we went and got our lemonade and headed back.
Did you thought it was a bat crack?
Well, it was the crack, they call it, the crack of a bat.
Like when they do it in there?
Yeah, when they hit. When the ball hits the bat, they call it the crack of the bat. So what was your favorite part of that ballpark? Surprise Stadium. Of that game. What was your favorite thing?
Getting myself a spring training shirt.
That's right, we did. We got some spring training shirts. So we got some souvenirs, And what else? Let's see. What else did we do? Was there anything else? What was your favorite part of those baseball games? What was the favorite thing we did at those ballparks?
I hit the ball and I hit it over people's head, and I thought it was a home run.
It sure looked like it was going to be a home run.
Yep.
Very cool.
But only if I hit it over the
Yeah.
fence.
Yeah. So what did we do when we weren't at the baseball field? What did we do at Uncle Brian's house?
I don't know.
Did we swim every day?
Yeah.
So we swam every day while we were at Uncle Brian's, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was your favorite part of the whole trip? Was it the baseball games?
Yep.
Saying something when we swam every day.
Also that.
That's right. Well, that was our trip to Phoenix for spring training. We had a lot of fun. You can see Wilson got a new spring training hat and a t-shirt. The kid got spoiled. He got totally spoiled while we were there. And we had a lot of fun together, and we're probably going to go back. We're already talking about planning next year's trip. So that was Wilson's experience at spring training in Phoenix. He obviously had a ton of fun. It was a blast going with him. It was so much fun. It was like our version of Disneyland almost. It was so much fun.
It sounded like
to
a blast.
go. But before we go, make sure you jump on the shop. We have hats, sweatshirts. You can see our Baseball Together sweatshirts.
I'm obsessed
We have
with
our
my sweatshirt.
awesome hats. Like we said, every single month we're dropping new designs. This month was the 42 design. Make sure you get on and get that. And actually this week we dropped a special one with Autism Awareness Day coming up on April 2nd. Go ahead, Mel.
Yeah, it was a collab between Brad and Brig, and they decided to make shirts, and it's 20% of the proceeds go to Alternative Baseball, and that is a baseball organization that helps communities make baseball teams for kids and kids and adults?
They say kids and adults with autism and other special needs, and they're nationwide, which I think is awesome. They're they're across most of the country, but
yeah,
I mean,
it's Brad posted about it. Our daughter's autistic; she's nonverbal autistic, and she loves to be active. She's just figuring out that Brad was helping her swing a bat the other day, and she was giggling and loving it so much. And we also had another person on the VIP group stumble upon the shirts on the shop and was saying that he had a son that was autistic as well. And so there's a really great opportunity for kids, and we'd love to support it. We'd love to have you buy those shirts. They're awesome.
Yeah,
ours are coming.
So it's the Baseball Together logo.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten ours yet. We just ordered them a couple days ago. But it's the same logo, but everything's blue and white because blue is the autism awareness color. But it has the autism puzzle piece up above the logo.
They're super cool. You can get sweatshirts, hoodies, not hats, onesies, t-shirts,
tank tops. There's a tote bag that you can get, and it all looks great because Brig
have my eye on that.
Brig did a great job with these. They look fantastic.
They really
I'm excited.
do.
I cannot wait to get mine because it looks so good. I'm
it
excited
does,
about
and we
it.
got Stella a cute pink one, and she's gonna rock it, and it's so awesome.
Right.
So yeah, hop on the shop. It has great stuff. It's super user friendly, easy to search, easy to find anything you're looking for. The designs are awesome. They're super cool.
And prices are continuing to drop.
They're insane.
Brig got a bunch down this week, so be sure to go check it out. We just want to make everything more affordable, so it's easy for you guys to buy. It's accessible. That's really what we want. We want
everyday wear, accessible. They're awesome. I embarrassingly wear my 9+S stuff. Not embarrassingly. I love it so much, and I wear it all the time. I'm really sad that it's slightly warming up because I could live in my sweatshirts, and I love Tiff's idea of getting them like 3 sizes bigger so I can just like cuddle in them because they're the best.
That's right.
But yeah, Wilson actually wore baseball together shirts, 4 of them. The whole spring training,
the whole trip, yep.
And he loves them. He thinks they're the coolest. He actually told someone, he's like, "Look at my shirt." It was the Jogathon.
He wore his Baseball Together t-shirt.
It's adorable.
Yeah. Also, don't forget you can hop on Baseball Together. You can read about baseball. You can watch the podcast there. I've been slacking on writing there. I really need to get something up soon. I want to do ballpark reviews, like the experiences that we had at the ballparks while we were in Phoenix, so that you guys, anybody who hasn't been down there yet and wants to, so you can kind of figure out what the Peoria Sports Complex is like. We went to Surprise Stadium, so you can kind of see what that's like. Super cool. I want to put some video that I took from both stadiums, put that up on YouTube, then it'll go on Baseball Together as well. And like I said before, you can submit to the mailbag on Baseball Together, and don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review the podcast, tell your friends about us, because we want to grow our community, and it's so much fun to get all the interaction that we get with you guys. We love it. And baseball family, everybody stay safe with coronavirus, and we will catch you next week.